Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. How's Eddie Frederick?
So glad you can join us. Roodal Moonilal throws his support behind Kamla Persad Bissessar in the UNC leadership race. This story takes the lead in our 989th edition of Caribbean Perspective for Thursday, 19th November 2020. Details after this important message.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. One opposition MP who in the past fought for leadership of the UNC and lost against Mrs. Kamla Persad Bissessar has recently declared his support for her this time around. Dr. Roodal Moonilal says the party is in dire need of stability and he believes the incumbent is the best choice at this point. Following a meeting with his constituency's executive committee on Monday, Oropouche East declared where their support will lie come internal elections on December 6th. Cindy Raghubatika Singh of TV6 News reports.
Opposition MP Dr. Roodal Moonilal has declared where his support and that of his constituency's executive team will go on December 6th. Following a meeting to discuss the two UNC internal election leadership candidates whose names were submitted on nomination day, their decision, he says, is clear.
Indicate that we are unanimously in support of the incumbent political leader, Mrs. Persad Bissessar, in the upcoming election. Other contender, Mr. Barrett, did not find favor. And a compelling reason, of course, is that Mr. Barrett is outside of the political gael. He's not in the parliament. That has serious consequences for leadership.
Dr. Moonilal says despite the party losing the last two consecutive general elections, he does not believe it was a result of poor leadership, as many factors contribute to the outcome of elections.
In times gone by, we had 14 seats, 15 seats, 12 seats, Today we have 19, and with a lot of hard work, we can certainly get to 21, 22, 23. But that requires stability. It requires, a certain amount of discipline and maturity and stability.
Two UNC internal elections ago in 2015, Mr. Barrett as well as Dr. Moonilal both lost by a wide margin to Mrs. Persad Bissessar for the leadership. We can see now that Mr. Barrett is trying his luck again. But why isn't Dr. Moonilal?
For myself, there are other pressing matters that are engaging my attention at this time. So I may not have the time, I may not have the energy to participate. So I took a decision that I will not be contesting the political leader, but also I have not filed nominations for any position at all. So I'm not participating at this time. That doesn't mean that I will not participate in the future.
Meanwhile, he says while he has not been following closely all the complaints being raised by prospective candidates, he warned candidates about the damage publicly airing internal party issues can cause the party, adding that he hopes the election committee meets with all candidates soon to ventilate all grievances. Dr. Moonilal ended by saying he has one piece of advice to those involved in the current process.
I have learned one lesson over the years, and I probably learned it the hard way actually. I didn't learn it the easy way. Is that the people you fight in the party, you have to work with them the day after. And one should be cautious. I can appeal, given my experience, I like to tell speakers they should walk with a little salt and pepper on them all the time. And the reason is you must be careful with your words. You may have to eat them.
Cindy Raghubatika Singh, TV6 News.
Still from Trinidad, Opposition Senator Wade Mark is calling on the police commissioner to look into what he's calling an incestuous relationship involving the PNM, Patriotic Energies and Trafigura Group Limited, a Singaporean multinational company which trades in base metals and energy. For some time now, the opposition has been alleging that the Rowley-led administration has been assisting Venezuela in evading US sanctions with the help of this company. But Monday night, at their virtual meeting, they raised the ante, TV6's Renessa Cutting has the details.
According to the opposition, Cabinet Note 1938, dated September 30th, 2019, suggests that it is the government who introduced Trafigura into the refinery deal, which also includes the sale of Paria's assets.
One of the 10 conditions was go and get an MOU with Trafigura. Yes, they got the MOU, but the MOU is now saying they have to transfer the Paria assets to Trafigura.
The opposition leader notes that earlier this year, government had denied that it was even selling the Paria assets, claiming instead that only the refinery was up for sale.
Whilst this is going on, we don't know the value of Paria. So this same money, 700 then, now you're saying 500 million, is going to buy Paria and refinery.
But the opposition leader says the state will actually be getting much less than that $500 million.
Frederick will keep 26 million for fees. So why must the government, and who is the government? Us, the taxpayers of this country. Why should we use taxpayers' dollars to pay for their fees, their legal fees and whatever else? Why? So out of the 500 million, 26, take out 26 out of that. 1.2 billion. So you're really giving away this thing, you're really giving it away.
Opposition Senator Wade Mark believes there's something more than meets the eye.
There appears to be an incestuous relationship between patriotic energies, Trafigura, the Rowley administration, and Wilma Roperti. We need the government to come clean on this relationship.
And he's calling on the police commissioner to summon Dr. Rowley to a meeting.
In light of what is taking place in the Privy Council March next year, where the PNP leadership is before the Privy Council for receiving 31 million Jamaican dollars from Trafigura, we would like to get from Dr. Rowley whether Trafigura made a financial donation to the PNM general election campaign for 2020. These are questions that the public would like to know. And these are issues that the police commissioner should find some time to really summon Dr. Rowley.
The opposition is calling on government to enact procurement legislation now in exchange for their support of the anti-gang bill.
So let's consider it. We will support you because you want to lock up for other crimes. Well, we also want people to get locked up for white-collar crimes. Let's bring the procurement legislation, fully proclaim, implement, and right, we'll put the two hands together, we'll shake on that. So we have both the white-collar crimes undercover and the non-white-collar crimes undercover.
Renessa Cutting, TV6 News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
The St. Lucia Labour Party, the SLP, has endorsed a candidate for Makewood North. Gina Felipe of HTS News Force reports.
The SLP says Jeremiah Nobbert's love for people makes him the man for the job. Nobbert is the opposition party's Makewood North candidate to contest the next elections. Communications Officer Monday Lewis made the official announcement on Monday.
A highly disciplined and motivated young man, Jeremiah's passion for people and community makes him the ideal candidate to join Team Labour. The forsaken constituents of Makewood North now have the opportunity to vote for a candidate who has their best interest at heart, with youthful exuberance and transformational ideas. The St. Lucia Labour Party welcomes yet another young, bright and talented star to its stellar slate.
Nobbert, who is a former police officer, is furthering his studies in political science.
Mr. Jeremiah Nobbert is a 30-year-old native from the community of La Pointe, Monrepo. Nobbert, who recently resigned from the Royal St. Lucia Police Force after 10 years of unwavering service, was the best recruit in the 2011 graduation of the Academy. Nobbert is a candidate for the Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science at the University of the West Indies Open Campus.
The SLP is 2 candidates away from completing its slate for the next general elections. Apart from Jeremiah Norbert, the party has released the names of the other hopefuls. They are Dennery South candidate Alfred Prosper, Choiseul Saltibus candidate Dr. Pauline Antoine Prosper, Dr. Virginia Albert Poyet for Babuno, and Grosile candidate Kenson Casimir. Gina Filippi, HTS News Force.
With the families of Isaiah and Joel Henry and Harish Singh desperate for answers in the nearly 3-month-old murder case, the coalition opposition tabled a motion Monday lobbying the National Assembly to exercise greater effort in ensuring the heinous murders are solved expeditiously. HGP's Amel Griffith reports.
It has been nearly 3 months since a grisly discovery of cousins Joel Henry, 19, and Isaiah Henry, 16, in a cotton tree west coast Berbice Baghdam shook the country. The heinous murders made national headlines and sparked countrywide protests. Days after the brutal murders, 17-year-old Harish Singh, a relative of 3 of the suspects in the murders of the cousins, was also found dead in the No. 2 village Baghdam. To date, mystery shrouds the case, as the perpetrators that committed this gruesome act have not been arrested. Fearing the youths may end up as other statistics while the killers walk free, Opposition Member of Parliament MP Geeta Chandan Edmund has given the Clerk of National Assembly notice that she intends to move a motion at the next sitting of the National Assembly condemning the brutal murders and to call upon law enforcement to bring the killers to justice. Chandan Edmund, along with a delegation of other opposition MPs and the families of the Henry boys, made their way to Parliament building on Monday morning to file the motion. Opposition Member of Parliament Raphael Trotman, who seconded the motion, speaking to the press outside of Parliament building on Monday morning, stated that the Guyana police force are exhibiting a, I quote, laid-back, cavalier attitude, end of quote, in solving the murders.
It is important for the national consciousness and conscience that we have an expeditious solution to these murders, both to be able to bring closure and, of course, as well to provide justice.
Trotman added that the coalition is aghast with the PPPC-led regime's response to the offer by the Argentine team, while alleging that government has not put any replacement system in place. He stated that there are plans to file similar motions at the various municipalities in all administrative regions until the government procures and finances the assistance of expert professionals to resolve the cases.
We will not allow this matter to die, and we will be filing similar motions in every municipality and every RDC throughout the 10 regions of Guyana.
This has not been the first time such a motion was tabled by the coalition concerning the murders of the Henry cousins and Singh. However, Trotman stated that some adjustments have been made and expressed hope that this latest motion will be put to the floor this time. In the meantime, the APNU-AFC reiterated calls for a swift and transparent investigation by the police. Another coalition member of Parliament, Catherine Hughes, called out the police for what she dubbed as a, quote, slothfulness, end of quote.
As a result of the award that they were offering, had gotten some information. We note that more than 72 hours have passed, and the people of Guyana have received no update. We've not seen any charges. And therefore, at the end of the day, we find it unacceptable that with a crime of this nature, the slothfulness continues.
Last week, the Guyana Human Rights Association, the law firm of Hughes, Fields and Stobie, established a facility for the public to donate funds to aid the investigations into the murders of the youths. Opposition leader Joseph Harman also called on government to provide funding for an impartial and independent investigation, while revealing that the APNU-AFC members of parliament donated $50,000 for the Argentine forensic team to travel to Guyana to conduct a forensic audit. Amel Griffith reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.